Imagine going about your day, unaware that something horrifying is happening right nearby. A car is towed in Los Angeles. It's a Tesla. Inside the trunk, something shocking, human remains. And that's when the nightmare begins. Who was this person? How did they end up? The remains were identified as 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The car? Registered to David Burke, a rising music star. But how does a teenager end up in the trunk of his car? What is the link between this case and the person involved in this horrifying crime? To understand how Celeste's life ended so suddenly, we must look back at who she was before this tragedy. Celeste wasn't living an ordinary teenage life. She struggled emotionally and with family issues, leading her to run away. Each time she came back, but the scars never fully healed. She searched for a sense of belonging. Celeste met David Burke, a 21-year-old musician. At first, he seemed like a safe figure, offering validation and attention, something Celeste desperately craved. But as time passed, David's true intentions became clear. This wasn't care, it was control. By November 2023, the connection between Celeste and David took a dark turn. She was just 13 years old. Celeste became involved in a manipulative relationship with David, 18 years old, using his fame and charm to control her. What Celeste didn't know was that this wasn't about care or love. It was about power and control. David isolated her, manipulated her emotions, and used his position to control a vulnerable young girl. She believed he cared. By April 2025, Celeste began realizing the gravity of what was happening. She tried breaking free, but each time, David pulled her back. The emotional toll was too much. What once was a close connection turned toxic. Celeste had dreams, but David's influence overshadowed them. In a final act of defiance, Celeste threatened to expose everything, the truth about her relationship with David. But David had too much at stake. His career, reputation, and future were on the line. So, in the dead of night, he allegedly chose to silence her forever. On April 23, 2025, Celeste arrived at David's Hollywood Hills home. What should have been a conversation turned into a deadly confrontation. Celeste threatened to expose their relationship, and in response, David allegedly decided to end her life. Her last phone activity stopped abruptly. In the hours before that moment, David was in contact with her. Once she arrived, she was never seen alive again. David didn't stop at killing Celeste. He took steps to cover his crime. Chainsaws, a body bag, and tools were ordered online. These were the items he needed to erase the evidence of what he had done. But as the saying goes, the truth always comes to light. Investigators began piecing together David's actions, tracking his every move. The evidence was undeniable, leading them closer to the truth. The car was abandoned for weeks before it was discovered. Towed to an impound lot, authorities were unaware of the horrors inside. Inside the Tesla was Celeste's body, dismembered and left to rot. At first, investigators had no clue, but the vehicle was registered to David. The investigation took a turn when surveillance footage showed David as the last person seen driving the car. As investigators dug deeper, they uncovered the chilling timeline. The car was parked just a few hundred feet from David's Hollywood Hills home before being towed. The last footage showed David driving the car days before his tour, placing him in the spotlight. But the investigation didn't end there. Investigators uncovered more evidence: text messages, phone calls, and DNA traces. David wasn't just the last person to see Celeste, he ended her life. Investigators uncovered that Celeste and David's relationship started in 2022, when Celeste was just 11 years old. By 2023, David and Celeste's relationship turned sexual. Celeste was still a child, but David continued manipulating and controlling her. This wasn't just an adult exploiting a child. It was a pattern of abuse, with David using his influence to exploit Celeste for years. The deeper investigators dug, the clearer it became that David preyed on a vulnerable child for his own gain. In 2026, David Burke's trial began. Prosecutors presented strong evidence. Celeste's family sat in the courtroom, hearing their daughter's story. They wanted justice for Celeste, and change. They wanted change, ensuring no other child would suffer the same fate. As the jury deliberates, the question remains: will the person responsible face justice for their actions, or will fame protect them? One thing is certain: Celeste's story will live on. This case has shaken everything we thought we knew about celebrity, trust, and manipulation. It's a painful reminder. No one is immune to exploitation, especially when the predator is cloaked in fame. Celeste deserved better, a future full of possibility, but became a victim. Her story is now a cautionary tale, echoing in the hearts of those who understand the dangers of blind trust. As the trial continues, we await justice. Stay tuned for more updates. Thank you for joining us in this dark chapter of Midnight Files. Celeste's story is one we must remember.